Imagine walking into a room full of strangers and being told that your entire concept of romance is a scientific illusion, a cocktail of dopamine, adrenaline, and testosterone designed by nature just to keep the human species from going extinct. This is the provocative, boundary-pushing opening hook of About Love, 2015, an intensely stylized, visually stunning romantic drama that strips away the Hollywood clichés to expose the raw, often messy truth about modern relationships. If you love deep, unconventional cinematic journeys like 500 Days of Summer or Her, this complete, non-stop breakdown will take you through every emotional twist and turn of a story that asks a terrifying question: is love the ultimate human connection, or just the most beautiful lie we tell ourselves? Our story kicks off in the heart of a bustling metropolis, introducing us to a brilliant, highly cynical professor who is delivering a lecture on the biological mechanics of human attraction. He argues that what we call soulmates is actually just a chemical reaction that peaks within the first 3 years of a relationship before inevitably fading away. Sitting in the audience is our main protagonist, a young, idealistic student who completely refuses to believe his cold, calculated worldview. She believes in destiny, grand gestures, and everlasting passion. This intellectual clash sets up the overarching narrative framework of the film, which unfolds as a series of interconnected, fast-paced stories exploring love through different lenses, ages, and perspectives. The cinematography shifts from sterile lecture halls to vibrant city streets, establishing that while science can explain the brain, it cannot fully capture the chaotic reality of human behavior. The first narrative arc dives straight into the chaotic world of youthful infatuation. We follow a young anime cosplayer who is completely obsessed with Japanese pop culture and spends her days living in a fantasy world. She meets a quiet, reserved young man at a convention, and the two instantly spark an intense, rapid-fire connection. The film uses vibrant, surreal visual effects to mirror the explosive high of a new crush. However, reality hits them hard when they try to transition their relationship from their stylized fantasy personas into everyday life. The script brilliantly dissects the anxiety of vulnerability, showing how terrifying it is to let someone see the flawed, unpolished person hiding behind the mask. They struggle to communicate, misreading each other's signals until a dramatic, rain-soaked confrontation forces them to choose between retreating into their safe, solitary worlds or risking heartbreak for a real connection. This segment highlights how modern youth often use internet culture and alter egos as shields to protect themselves from the painful, unpredictable reality of true emotional intimacy. Without missing a beat, the story shifts gears to explore a completely different dynamic: the intoxicating danger of secret attraction. We are introduced to a successful, seemingly happily married corporate executive who crosses paths with a free-spirited, enigmatic photographer. The chemistry between them is immediate and undeniable, challenging the professor's theory that long-term stability completely kills spontaneous desire. The film builds incredible tension through subtle glances, stolen moments, and the quiet, agonizing anticipation of an affair. As they slide closer to crossing the line, the narrative examines the heavy psychological toll of emotional infidelity. It forces the audience to question whether the thrill of a new romance is worth destroying a lifetime of built trust, leading to a quiet, devastatingly realistic hotel room sequence where both characters realize that some fantasies are beautiful precisely because they remain unfulfilled. They choose to walk away, proving that human beings are capable of overcoming their biological impulses through moral choice. The emotional weight intensifies as the third segment tackles the most painful phase of the romantic cycle: the slow, agonizing decay of a long-term relationship. We follow a middle-aged couple who have been together for over a decade. On the surface, their life is perfect, but underneath, the silence in their apartment is deafening. The film masterfully captures the microscopic details of a fading romance: the forced conversations, the avoided eye contact, and the heavy burden of shared history. When a minor domestic argument over something trivial escalates into a massive, raw exposure of deep-seated resentments, the script delivers a masterclass in emotional realism. It shows that the true opposite of love isn't hatred, it's total indifference. They are forced to confront the heartbreaking reality that they have grown into completely different people who no longer know how to fit into each other's lives, leaving the audience with a chilling look at how easily two people can become strangers while sharing the exact same bed. Just as the movie threatens to become completely cynical, it transitions into its final, most redemptive arc, focusing on late-stage romance. We meet an elderly man who has spent years living in isolation after the passing of his wife, convinced that his capacity for deep emotion died with her. His routine is disrupted when he forms an unexpected, reluctant friendship with a spirited, independent woman at a local community center. This segment slows down the pacing, focusing on the beauty of companionship, shared laughter, and the quiet comfort of being understood. It completely disproves the professor's opening lecture by showing that even when the biological, chemical fire of youth has long burned out, the psychological and emotional need for human connection remains entirely unbreakable. Their relationship is pure, built not on physical necessity or societal pressure, but on a genuine, profound appreciation for each other's presence in the twilight of their lives. The film comes full circle as we return to the university lecture hall where the cynical professor concludes his presentation, challenging his students to find a single piece of evidence that contradicts his data. The young student stands up, no longer naive, but deeply matured by everything she has witnessed and experienced throughout the narrative. She argues that love cannot be measured solely by brain scans or hormone levels because its true value lies in the conscious choice to stay, to fight, and to care for another person despite the biological odds. The final frame leaves the audience with a breathtaking, sweeping montage of all the characters we've met, navigating their separate paths through the city streets, leaving us with a profoundly moving, honest, and unforgettable look at the beautiful chaos of the human heart, proving that love is not a scientific flaw,